It is the year 2008. A lot of you would say 2009, but no. Street Fighter 4 initially debuted in 08, and my first experience with Akuma in this game was him as, once again, a secret character. I can't remember the stipulations behind the arcade version, but there was something that was eventually figured out in the arcade hardware of Street Fighter 4 that allowed Akuma to be playable in the OG 16 character roster of the game. And this is like the very first arcade version, the one without Fei Long or, you know, several characters like Sakura and stuff like that. They weren't even in this version of the game. That would be later on in like the actual console release. So Akuma was in that version, but he was like a weird secret hidden character, and I wish I can remember how to find him, but there was some really funny shit with the initial version of vanilla Street Fighter 4 and arcade versions of vanilla Street Fighter 4 that had unlocked stipulations for characters like Evil Ryu and like Oni and stuff like that. So it's funny. He definitely was an extremely popular character in Street Fighter 4 Vanilla, from what I remember. And that carried forward until the console release of the game, you know, 6-7 months later, when it eventually comes out and, you know, they have the big ass character select and everything. Akuma is damn good in this game. And how do I know that? No, I didn't play too much Akuma. I played a little bit of him just to like figure some stuff out. I remember all the stuff that I did from before, but I played Ken, and this fight sucked, man. My nemesis was Akuma. I had a couple of folks that were effectively like, whoa, this is a difficult fight. And I would go to local tournaments and stuff, and at that tournament, the big heavy hitter was J.R. Rodriguez, Pikachu Akuma. And we would be effectively the two people in the finals of that tournament, that weekly, every single week. And I'd be trading off between JR, like he would win one and I would win one, and it was like a constant struggle of just like, god damn, this matchup is so difficult, because Akuma was a nightmare in vanilla Street Fighter 4, man. He was a nightmare. So what makes him so goddamn good? Demon Flip is arguably better than it's ever been. The dive kick out of Demon Flip, the palm, the Demon Flip command grab, all of this stuff is stupid good. And the reason it's so good is because Akuma can set up into it so easily. They gave him the exact same setup that he got from Third Strike. So if you just confirm into a Tatsu of any kind, you're in a juggle state, you can punch them and then cancel that punch into the Demon Flip. You just gotta hold that shit, bro. And Demon Flip was so crazy early on that the dive kick out of it, I swear to God, it just beat all of your anti-airs. So even if you did have like an upper body invulnerable anti-air, Demon Flip dive kick was so goddamn active, it just went through your shit. And I was just like, bro, this is, you just have to hold this? This is crazy, man. Yeah, Akuma's hella good. And as we went back and sort of checked them out, especially the vanilla version of Akuma in, you know, just regular Street Fighter 4, he has a lot of the notorious elements that sort of plagued the game early on. He has his roundhouse jab infinite, which does lead to a ton of damage if you eventually convert it into a combo. He has got really, really easy access to good damage, and what is the beginning of one of the most notorious elements that people will associate with Akuma, and that's the vortex. And this dude is able to like knock you down, do these cross-up tatsus where you don't know if it's going to cross you up or not, and he doesn't even need to. He can do an empty jump low. It was truly a nightmare. So Akuma would be ending all of his combos in effectively a sweep. It's a hard knockdown, and he would cross you up or not cross you up or go for an empty jump low. It was brutal, dude. Not to mention crazy air fireball Oki, where in some situations, I didn't get it exactly set up, but yeah, you can stick like a meaty air fireball in somebody and cross them up, and now you just gotta hold all of this shit. It was stupid good. So yeah, Akuma is damn good in Street Fighter 4, and I'm sort of reminded by that as we're playing through it. And Street Fighter 4 is just a game that is running at a blitzkrieg pace. Like, I don't remember this game being this goddamn fast. And I think it's because Akuma is naturally a very fast character. His walk speed, his movement, everything's just sort of quicker because he is a lower health character, as he should be. But man, just the speed of Street Fighter 4 as I ran through it again and started relearning how to do plinks and all this stuff, you know, even different from the Street Fighter Legacy before, Akuma's got some damn fun combos. And I almost forgot, like, whoa, yeah, I can just combo light attacks, low hit confirms into a light attack, into mediums, into FADC, and to go freaking crazy. It's all here, and Akuma just gets ridiculous damage as a result. Also, Raging Demon is hella fun. We just got to say it. They give Akuma 2 Raging Demons. His Ultra is a Raging Demon. You deserve this. Bye, House of the Dead. And he has a traditional Raging Demon. However, the Ultra Raging Demon does not work the same. It does not immediately grab you up close. That is saved for the super version. The super version can also be like Kara grabbed. So you can, you can Kara cancel out of like overhead, and it's genuinely good. Does a decent amount of damage, but everyone kind of remembers the die 1000 deaths Akuma demon from this game because you can combo into it from attacks like, you know, a focus attack, stuff like that. So you get to see a lot of Raging Demon. Like, there's 2 of them, man. And when they're on screen, they are very present. You're going to get your ass demoned by Akuma in this game. That's for sure. Go show you. Kiss my ass. Holy shit. One thing we did also investigate a bit is Omega Mode Akuma. And to my surprise, I don't think I've ever played this version of Akuma before. He has a lot of crazy follow-up attacks, change normals, a lot of really goofy looking stuff. Clearly, this was an experimental phase for Ultra Street Fighter 4, kind of leading into Street Fighter 5. And all of the combos are easier. So again, I have to remind everybody, this is the era of one-frame links, and there's a way that you can plink buttons, which is like powering down attacks, that allows you to make them 2 frames, or like twice as easy, but still really hard. But when you play in Omega Mode, it treats it sort of like Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, where the buffer window to allow you to actually hit this button and for it to catch the next closest frame is a bit bigger. It's like twice as big, meaning that if you want to land some of these harder combos, they are a lot easier when you're playing in Omega Mode, so that one-frame link combos don't have to be effectively the main thing you have to do with combo with a lot of characters. And I don't know if I specifically missed that. It's fun. It's fun going back and figuring out the solutions we came up for when all of these combos existed and how, you know, difficult timing they are, because they are really, really difficult timing. But it's also funny in the same game in Omega Mode, when I play as Akuma, they effectively solve this and they're like, here's our solution for it. It's not really the worst thing ever. It really isn't. And it's kind of fun how this game was a testing ground. Also, he has a teleport command grab. The battle has begun. He has a Street Fighter 6 command grab? Bullshit. You're not lying. What the hell? You're actually not lying. Thought you were lying. You're a big piece of shit. No shit, it's the exact same thing that the dude has in Street Fighter 6. His triple kick teleport can be canceled into grab, and it's a unique command grab. I'm like, bro, what? And it's no kidding, the exact same move he has in Street Fighter 6, so that's mad funny. Anyway, a lot of different versions of Akuma in this game, because Ultra Street Fighter 4 allows you not to just play vanilla versions of characters. It's all the versions in between Super and Arcade Edition in 2012 and Ultra Street Fighter 4, all of them. At some point down the line, characters get multiple Ultras, and you can choose 2 Ultra, and Akuma gets the Looney Tunes Super, where I've always said this, the majority of characters, I swear to God, in Super Street Fighter 4, when we started giving characters multiple supers, just spin a lot. And Akuma is the ultimate example of that, where my Ultra combo is me spinning a shit ton, and he is effectively a giant Looney Tunes Ultra. So I never loved this one too much. It's okay. It's not as good as the Demon or anything like that, but Akuma doesn't even get like Super Fireball in this, or like Go Shoryu or anything like that. Staple things that he's sort of had in the majority of games, they're not even here. So it's funny. It's funny to also look at Street Fighter 4, a game with a lot of potential and a lot of things you can do, but it's also missing a ton of supers that the characters just traditionally get. So it is what it is. If there was one thing I was kind of nervous about, was following up with the next game, which was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And Street Fighter Cross Tekken is built on the foundation of Street Fighter 4, obviously, and is a game that was sent to die. It is effectively a cursed Capcom fighting game, just about as cursed as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And Cross Tekken has a lot of really fun elements in it, but I have vivid memories of this game just playing like ass and not feeling good. While still having a lot of really fun combos and potential, the systems in this game allow for a lot of crazy shit. Chain combos are added to the game, but you can also do link combos with a variety of characters. And Akuma is no different. He does a ton of damage, and he has a shit ton of utility, and he's really goddamn fun in this game. And everything just kind of works in Cross Tekken. It's weird. I remember this game feeling just bad, like overall, but weirdly enough, my experience right here wasn't that odd. I kind of liked it. Music kicks in. But there is some funky shit in it, like really extended hit stun. The PlayStation 3 version just straight up lags on a lot of stages. It's a little funky. So I teamed him up with Ogre, and I probably did this before with the previous Akuma Legacy, but yeah, Akuma and one demon complementing another demon, and it's fun, dude. There's just a shit ton of potential in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and you feel like, you know, within 30 minutes to an hour, you're only scratching the surface of really what is possible between mix-ups and combination of other mechanics, because there's just so many mechanics. It's a game that is like mechanically dense, but to a fault, where several mechanics in the game were just super bad. Things you would just never use, especially when it came out at launch. And eventually, you know, that stuff is fixed up a little bit, but it's still really bad. There's just not much of a reason to do it. But Akuma's a lot of fun in this game, and hit confirming like link combos, down, medium punch into crouching heavy punch into big damage, like all of this stuff, allowing Tatsu to carry the opponent while you tag in the other person and just go for crazy cross-up mix-ups and shit. It reminds me a lot of like Street Fighter EX3 in many ways, and that game, unfortunately, didn't have Akuma for us to go into it, but that game has a lot of crazy ass tag mechanics that kind of complement it. And this game has some of the sickest team up supers, you know, this side of most Capcom fighting games. Every character gets their own individual supers, like obviously, but when you get 3 bars, you get the ability to actually do a tag team super that rips away all the red health. So I was trying to do this as much as possible. It changes also if you're the introduction character or the finisher character. You have different actions depending on who starts and who finishes. So I tried to get to show that as much as possible with Ogre as well as Akuma. But yeah, it's just so much fun comboing into this shit. A lot of these mechanics were so bad early on in the first version of the game, in the 2012 version, that you just didn't have any reason to do them. And then they massively buffed them. And the one that got a lot of buffs was this, the big tag team super. It does a ton of damage and it removes red health from the opponent. So it's like, oh yeah, I get to do this. And this shit is cool. I like seeing this. If we're going to talk about Akuma as a character, not much changes, because Street Fighter 4 reverts back. It sort of puts us somewhere in between Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 3. So in terms of Akuma as like a character and story, they don't really do much with him at all. So we don't see a proper evolution of Akuma as a functional character in some way. He doesn't really get many new moves or new attacks or evolutions of what makes Akuma Akuma. But at the same time, Street Fighter Cross Tekken tries to expand on that lore a little bit with some goofy Pandora's box shit, and it's the dumbest goddamn story ever. Like, they never explain what the hell's going on. It always feels throwaway. It feels like just something they toss in here that they didn't put much thought into, for the fact that, hey, we got Street Fighter and Tekken characters, come buy our game, you know. And that's kind of the sad thing, is that I do sort of like seeing, you know, where Akuma evolves and how he becomes more and more powerful in his dank cave. And we really don't get that, because this is effectively a regression of the Street Fighter story as well as Akuma as the character. Albeit, I think for a lot of people, that thing that we talked about earlier, where you think about Akuma and it's like, oh man, which game do you think of Akuma? I immediately go to Super Turbo, and I'm like, man, Super Turbo Akuma was just the one. And I think a lot of people think of Street Fighter 4 Akuma, because this character was so goddamn popular in this game that I think it really had a cementing value in the hearts of a lot of Street Fighter fans, and for people that really fell in love with Akuma as a character that were brand new to the FGC or brand new to fighting games around the Street Fighter 4 time frame. I think this really did it, because he's a great character and he's so much fun, and my god, is he a cheap ass bitch.